Ms. Leger Fernandez.
Madam Chair, I have an amendment to the rule. I move the committee strike section 2 of the rule, which prevents the House from voting on legislation to repeal President Trump's reckless recent tariffs issued on April 2nd, 2025. Madam Chair, as we've had in the debate today, Trump ran on the idea that he would reduce costs for Americans. And what we are seeing with the tariff wars that he has started and that Republicans are supporting with this rule is that it is a disaster for Americans, for farmers, for manufacturing, for families, for the world order. There is a threat of a recession, and this is all impacting everyday Americans in a way that is disastrous. Republicans, through this rule, are refusing to follow the Constitution, which says that Congress shall have the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations. And we only need 4 Republicans, only 4 Republicans, to vote with Democrats to review the tariffs and stop this madness. But Republicans think that they can stop time, can stop debate, and in that way avoid actually voting on the tariffs, actually debating on the tariffs, which is our job. The same way that we have debated now, we need a debate on the floor. Do you support tariffs that are throwing our economy into a recession? Do you support tariffs that are hurting our families? And if you believe it is good for farmers and ranchers, then say it. Then get up on the floor and debate that. But don't prevent us from having that debate. We only need 4 Republicans to vote with Democrats to stop this madness. And so I move to strike that portion. And I need to remind everybody that when you vote against this motion, you are voting in favor of the tariffs. You are voting to say that Republican leadership and as a whole supports these tariffs, despite the fact that your constituents are suffering from the harm from these tariffs. With that, Madam Chair, I yield back.
Is there further discussion?
Madam Chair?
Mr. McGovern, you're recognized.
Yeah, I just want to support the gentlelady's amendment. Look, President Trump has started a needless trade war that will result in Americans paying higher prices for things that they need to survive, like food. And every American with a retirement account is worried because they're watching their savings evaporate before their eyes due to the turmoil in the markets that were unleashed by this unnecessary trade war. Farmers are wondering if they're going to be able to continue to farm their land. And a little pain, as the President warned, may be okay for Trump and Musk and their billionaire buddies, but it will hurt the rest of America who don't vacation at Mar-a-Lago. Republicans are doing everything they can, rigging the rules and rewriting time itself to avoid a vote on these tariffs. You know how deeply unpopular they are. So here's a chance for Republicans on this committee to stand up for the regular people in your districts who cannot afford to pay higher grocery bills. And I hope the gentlelady's amendment will be made in order.
Ms. Scanlon, you're recognized.
Thank you. I also want to speak in support of this amendment. I mean, to be clear, the Constitution gives Congress, not the President, the authority to impose tariffs. And in certain circumstances, Congress has allowed the President to do that, but Congress retains the power to end those tariffs. So right now, the Speaker and House Republicans want to have a rule to prevent the House from rescinding Trump's tariffs. The Senate has already voted to rescind some of the tariffs, but House Republicans are blocking Congress from doing a constitutional duty, which is to rescind tariffs. So Ms. Leger Fernandez, am I clear that a vote against your amendment is a vote to keep Trump's tariffs?
That is exactly what that vote would be. It would be a vote for the tariffs, and in essence, this committee is voting on behalf of all of their Republicans so that we can never discuss and debate the tariffs on the floor of the House.
It's almost as though our Republican colleagues are trying to hide from a debate about the wisdom and the impact of Trump's tariffs.
If they want to debate the tariffs, we've heard some of our colleagues say they think it's a good thing, well, we should then be able to debate that on the floor of the House and decide. Instead, what they are doing is they are actually stopping time. Let's read this. Provides that each day during the period from April 9th, 2025, shall not constitute a calendar day? Right? They're saying that there are no days. You have stopped time. Republicans cannot stop time. The damages from the tariffs are happening every day. The damages from the tariffs are happening every hour. Look at the stock market gyrations. Look at what's happened to the bond markets. Look at what's happening. Do not believe you can stop time, because the real world, the clock, is proceeding. It's not stop time.
Well, I want to thank my colleague for bringing this amendment. I think it is important. I'd urge a yes vote from everyone so that Congress can exercise its constitutional authority and not hide from the impact of what's going on. And with that, I would yield back.
Thank you. Well, as you know, we keep good records here in the Rules Committee, as you've pointed out today. And while it's well within the minority's right to cry foul on this rule tolling the days on the latest national emergency announced by President Trump, they should really tread carefully on their arguments. I'd like to repeat some of my statements from the floor yesterday and a reminder about those who live in glass houses. This is a tool utilized by both Democrat and Republican majorities now. Once again, during the consideration of the 117th Rules Package, HRES 8, which was supported by every member of the minority in this committee, also, quote, stopped time, end quote, for both legislative and calendar days regarding a myriad of processes, as I detailed yesterday. These manipulations were put in place with no plan to sunset and maintained for 18 months in subsequent rules with continued support by our counterparts in this committee. You heard that right. Under your own rules, one day lasted 18 months in your view. Talk about time travel. Additionally, the then Democrat majority twice blocked debating and voting on resolutions terminating the COVID national emergency as filed by Mr. Gosar. The language here today is not indefinite and has a clear end date, sunsetting after the end of September, unlike the blanket prohibitions on COVID NEA resolutions.
Madam Chair,
Mr. McGovern?
we just believe these tariffs are hurting our constituents. Increasing costs for groceries and everything else are not what our constituents want or what they can deal with. So that's why we're supporting this amendment. I yield back.
And Mr. McGovern, we not only believed at the time that the COVID restrictions were hurting the American people, they've been proven to have done that. So we generally work with proof as opposed to speculation. So hearing none of the questions on the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion chair, the noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. Ms. Leger Fernandez requests a vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fishbach. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman? No. Mr. Norman, no. Mrs. Houchin? Mrs. Houchin, no. Mr. Langworthy? No. Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott? No. Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith? No. Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack?
No.
Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern? Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon? Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse? Ms. Leger Fernandez? Ms. Leger Fernandez, aye. Mr. Roy? Madam Chair?
No.
Madam Chair, no.
The clerk will report the total.
3 yeas, 8 nays.
The noes have it, the amendment is not agreed to. Are there other amendments or discussions?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Leger Fernandez, you're
Madam-
recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have an amendment